Fear is the mind killer. Hi, I'm Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind. And today we continue with our conversation about fear is the mind killer. Now, most of us have the talent and the ability to do much more with our lives than we're currently doing, but we don't allow ourselves to express that greatness within us. Why? Well, I chalk it up to fear. Fear is something we all have. Fear is hardwired into our DNA. Fear is necessary for our survival in times of danger. But fear is also a limiting factor, stopping us from working toward what we really want. Fear distracts us. Fear leads us to excuses. And that doesn't have to be the case. The question is, will we conquer fear, or will fear conquer us? Please click on the thumbs up button below, and if you haven't already done so, please choose to subscribe. Thumbs up is below. The subscribe button is the logo down in the corner there. And if you would, please, I'd love to get your comments, thoughts, and questions. You can put those in the chat box on the right side of the screen. If you're viewing this in replay mode, then the chat box is not available, so you have to go to the comment section below. But I'd love it if you would participate. Thank you very much. So the question is, how do you effectively learn to deal with the paralyzing effects of fear? Well, here are some steps. Let's take a look at our list. So here we go. Fear. 1, acknowledge that you are experiencing fear. 2, identify your fear. 3, recognize that fear can work for you. 4, sit with your fear. 5, create bold goals that are must-haves. Must-have. 6, recognize when you're just making excuses. 7, surround yourself with success. 8, find value in pain. 9, use the power of your imagination. And 10, accept that you will fail. Accept that. Okay, so those are the 10 steps. Let's go through them one at a time. Number 1, the first step. The first step in dealing with fear is to acknowledge that you're actually experiencing fear. Many of us deny that we're afraid. Instead, we make up excuses as to why we haven't achieved the goals we've set for ourselves, or why we haven't pursued the career we really wanted. I remember when I was in high school, I wanted to be a writer. That was a dream of mine. Teachers told me that I should be a writer. People who read my essays thought I should be a writer. It was obvious that I should be a writer. But when it came down to actually becoming a writer, I was scared stiff. I balked. I came up with excuses like maybe I wasn't really that good, or besides, you can't really make any money being a writer, or I need to get a job that's going to pay the rent first. So I succumbed to my fear of failure, and that led to several years of frustration and struggle and tears as I moved from job to job to job. Finally, infinite intelligence put it in my face so that I couldn't avoid it, and I could finally live my dream of becoming a writer. So, look at yourself. Look at your life. Are you unhappy with where your life is going? Is there something else you'd rather be doing? Then you're probably living in fear and denying yourself a chance to do what you really want to do. So after you acknowledge that you are experiencing fear, the next step, number 2, is to identify what it is. Sometimes it's non-specific fear. It could be that we're afraid of some future event that may or may not happen. Our minds latch on to the possibility of something bad happening in the future, and then goes into a feedback loop that just keeps feeding it to us as we worry about something that hasn't happened yet and may never happen. This is called anxiety. It's also called chronic stress. And this has sometimes been called false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. Yeah, fear. So, I guess we need to realize that this fear thing is not good for us emotionally, mentally, physically. It can keep us from being calm and peaceful. It can cause digestive problems. It can cause sleep problems. It can even hamper our ability to think clearly. So we got to identify what it is that is giving you fear. Now, according to Tony Robbins, the motivational speaker and coach, in his article, Overcoming Fear and Anxiety, you begin by identifying your fear. That's what we're talking about. Identify your fear by sitting quietly for a few minutes and observe your thoughts, your feelings, and your bodily sensations. Write what comes down, what comes up as you're sitting there thinking about what am I afraid of. And as you're writing, be as specific as you can. We really want to get this clear, this pinpointed, this identity. Who are you? What are you? And also consider embracing a daily meditation practice, a mindfulness practice, a doing nothing practice, of sitting there and letting your mind go blank. You know, we've talked about doing nothing, getting comfortable in doing nothing. It helps you to gain clarity on what's driving you. It helps you to gain clarity on who you are and to find your center. And as you find your center, you're going to feel empowered to confront your fears. That was number 2. Number 3, recognize that fear can work for you. Now, our emotions exist to tell us something, to tell us things. When you feel fear, your soul is trying to tell you something. So listen. View the fear as a piece of information instead of a threat to your survival. You know, when I feel the energy of fear come in, I know something is happening, and I have to stop and think about what is causing it. So, because sometimes it just comes up out of the blue, and it lets me know that something new is coming. It's letting me know there's been a shift of energy, and when there's a shift of energy, my body reacts in a sensation of fear. It's telling me something. So by using fear as a diagnostic tool, it becomes your ally, not your enemy. It becomes a source of guidance for you to reach your full potential. Number 4, sit with your fear. Okay, we do a lot of sitting here as spiritual warriors. That's where our power is. It's in your mind. It's getting your mind calm and centered. Sit with your fear. Try doing nothing. Sit with your fear for a few minutes. Think about it. What is the root cause of this fear? What is the story you tell yourself about why you cannot overcome this fear? Get inside yourself. Get to know yourself. Yeah. This isn't to say you shouldn't take action. Of course you should. But a moment of reflection can have a great effect in overcoming fear because it shows you the way. It opens curtains to show you the way that's productive, deliberate, and effective. Number 5, create goals that are must-haves. What does that mean? It means drop goals that are not inspiring you. If you're not inspired by some goal that you've set up, then that goal is not for you. You need goals that are going to pull you through your fears and out into the light that just grabs you and pulls you through. Goals that you can't resist, goals that you're willing to work for, goals that you desire. You desire. So what is a life with that goal, with that kind of goal? What does that life look like? Is it just a someday maybe plan that you're dealing with? Is that why you're not inspired? Is there something you actively want to work toward? Is it something that you are going to commit to? Something that you think maybe it's attainable? It doesn't have to be sure, just maybe it's attainable. I really want that. I really want that. Yeah. I can remember when I had sales jobs, they were always trying to motivate us with money. This prize is for the first one to do this. This special gift, this. I was never touched by those. Those never excited me. I had other things that would excite me. So get to know what excites you. What is it that excites you? Because that's what's going to pull you through the fear. That's what's going to grab you and just pull you through everything. Number 6, recognize when you're just making excuses. Fear makes you put things off. I'm really tired. I have other stuff to do. It's a dumb idea anyway. I don't have time. These excuses probably sound familiar, don't they? You've probably said this out loud to yourself. Think about it. Is there any truth to these statements, or are you just constructing excuses to avoid potential failure? Recognize when you're using excuses and figure out how to overcome them. If you're too tired, adjust your schedule. Get some more sleep. If there's not enough time, assess your priorities. What are you involved in? What are you spending your time on? Is there something you can let go of in favor of what you really want? Think about it. Number 7, surround yourself with success. Basically, don't hide out at home. Get out of your space and move yourself into situations where other people who are already doing the things you want to do are doing them. You want to start a business? Well, get into groups where entrepreneurs meet. You want to be an actor? Well, get into an acting group. Anything you want to do out there, anything you want to do, there are people out there who are already doing it. And they're meeting in groups that you can find in the Meetup portal. Check out Meetup. Put in the whatever it is you're interested in, and boom, up in your face are going to come places where people who are doing that are meeting. People who are thinking about that are meeting. People who are involved in that endeavor are meeting. Go to Meetup and get out there and be with those people. The reason you need to be with those people is that they are not going to think your ideas are crazy because they think them too. They're thinking the same thing you are. Go out there, sit in a meeting and just listen. Don't say anything, just listen. And see how closely aligned you are with those people. And that's going to help pull you out of that fear, out of that darkness of maybe I'm not good enough, maybe it won't work. Yeah, it's going to work. You just need to find the right place for it. Number 8, find value in pain. I'm not advocating becoming a masochist, but pain is a profound teacher. If you accept that you're going to encounter pain as time goes by, as you seek to elevate your life, then painful experiences can become teachers, can become opportunities for growth. When you let go of pain as a threat to your survival and realize that it's a tool for you to overcome fear, it's a tool for you to get through things, to make you stronger. Remember, if it doesn't kill you, it'll make you stronger. Then pain becomes your ally. Remember, everybody experiences hardships in life. What matters are the lessons that you take from those experiences and how you apply them in your future. Number 9, use the power of your imagination. Tony Robbins says, identify your problems, but give your power and energy to solutions. Now, goal visualization is one of those solutions. Visualization is used by some of the most successful athletes, actors, entrepreneurs. I've told you about how people imagine success, imagine winning a race, imagine getting that contract. Michael Phelps, Olympic champion, imagined himself winning the race. Will Smith, Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah, they all imagined. They imagined, and those imaginary things came true. Your creative power is in your imagination. If you can see it, feel it, hear it, smell it, then infinite intelligence will make it happen. Remember, Neville Goddard taught your imagination is God. Everything that you see and experience are your emotional lies, thoughts, and mental images pushed out into the world. Use your imagination. Finally, number 10, accept that you will fail. Hey, failure is guaranteed. The number one fear when anyone decides to try something new, to try to achieve something, is that they are going to fail. Everybody fails. Successful business owners fail. World leaders fail. Prominent chefs fail. Artists, scientists, doctors all fail. At some point, they all fail. Our society tries to hoodwink you by not talking about failure, and instead they only celebrate success. But hey, this is a false impression. This is a false impression. In order to be truly successful, you will fail. Just realize that. You know, according to Thomas J. Watson, he was the founder of the giant corporation IBM. He said, if you want to increase your success rate, then double your failure rate. If you want to increase your success rate, then double your failure rate. You learn much more from failure. Much more from failure than you'll ever learn from success. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before he actually was successful at creating the light bulb. 1,000 times. Think about that. You know, another quote from Thomas J. Watson, the founder of IBM, was, recently I was asked if I was going to fire an employee who had made a mistake that cost the company $600,000. No, I replied. I just spent $600,000 training him. Why would I want somebody to hire his experience? Oh, that's funny. Sir Winston Churchill, the famous prime minister of what is that, Britain? Great Britain, yeah. He supposedly said, there's disputes as to whether he actually said it or not, but I still love the line. Success is going from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. Success is going from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the fear list again, what we just went over. So, dealing with fear effectively. Number 1, acknowledge that you are experiencing fear. 2, identify your fear. 3, recognize that fear can work for you. 4, sit with your fear. 5, create goals that are must-haves. 6, recognize when you're just making excuses. 7, surround yourself with success. 8, find value in pain. 9, use the power of your imagination. And number 10, accept that you will fail. It is guaranteed. Get over it. Then there's situations where you confront something that's threatening to you, and you don't have time to go through all these steps. You're just dealing with fear right then and right there. So remember yesterday I gave you a mantra that I used, that I got from the author Frank Herbert, and that was, I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. I will face my fear, and I will let it pass through me. And when the fear has passed, only I will remain. Okay, so we're dealing with, you're in a situation where you feel threatened. And then there are the old standbys, and I have used these standbys from the Bible many, many times. They're hundreds of years old, but they work. There's the 23rd Psalm, which states, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me on the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." There have been some moments in my life when I called upon the 23rd Psalm to get me through. And then there's another. It's the 91st Psalm. And that one says, "I will say of the Lord, whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely he will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will never come near you." It will never come near you. Of course, it says it will not come near you, but I myself changed it to, it will never come near you. So fear. Fear may be a part of our physical makeup. It's in our DNA, but it does not have to rule us. Remember, we are individualized expressions of infinite intelligence. We are spiritual warriors, and though we may encounter setbacks, we can always make comebacks because we are never alone. Never. Let us close with prayer. Thank you, infinite intelligence. Thank you for bringing us together in this life so that we may become spiritual warriors and join in the work we have come here to do. Thank you, infinite intelligence, for bringing us into this space of awareness and a deeper understanding of ourselves and our relationship to life and infinite intelligence. Thank you for showing us who we really are. We open our minds and hearts to the truth of our being. We are the children of God. We are individualized expressions of infinite intelligence. And because we are part of the greater whole, we're beginning to understand our value, the continuity of life on this planet. As we become channels of your power, infinite intelligence, we can feel your presence within ourselves and within our lives more and more. And we know that as we feel you within our lives, Every day we will rise because we are no longer cut off from you by being immersed in the darkness of fear, anger, and the pain of unforgiveness. So we're now restoring our connection through the grace of forgiveness, knowing that as we learn to forgive ourselves for the pain we have caused to ourselves, as we learn to forgive those who have inflicted pain upon us, our lives, our connections will grow stronger, and our lives will grow happier and healthier and more prosperous. And for this, we are truly grateful. As above, so below. As within, so without. And so it is. Amen. Thank you for watching. The show was kind of long today, but we had a lot to cover. So, remember, you can overcome fear. It is not the ruling factor in your life. So you decide what it is you want to do, and you go after it. You go after it, and you make fear your ally, not your enemy. So I'd love it if you kept click on the thumbs up button below. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. And I'd love to get your comments and thoughts. Please use the comment section below the video. In the meantime, I am Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind.